Guardian, we've picked up a high-gain transmission. Origin point is somewhere along the coast, near the Cosmodrome.
What is up, Guardians? This is Cosmodrome Radio, broadcasting live back from the Cosmodrome, where we always are. But we're broadcasting all the way to Neomuna and back because everyone needs to hear the amazingness all the way in the Cloud Arc because people just plug their brains into it, apparently. That's still a weird concept, but we don't know how it works yet, so we'll get to it when we get to it. This is Cosmodrome Radio, the podcast all about Destiny 2 and the great game that it is. My name is Peter the Paladin. Don't forget that you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Audible, all those great places. iHeartRadio if you're feeling funky. Whatever you want to do there, we are there for you. So check us out. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Cosmodrome Radio, and you can always join the Discord server via the show notes or Twitter. That way you can be part of the community. We do answer every week now. We will have listener questions about what's going on in the game, and we will be answering live on the show. So make sure that you do join the Discord. That way you can get your questions answered on the show. All right. As I said, my name is Peter the Paladin. To my left, we have the man whose sleep schedule is worse than mine, and it's funny. Quite literally peak sniper lanes more than the average bear. We have Alchemy. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Just woke up from a nap.
Hooligan ass. Now, before I introduce my next co-host, matter of fact, I'll actually no, let me do it this way. That way I can do my joke about Alchemy. My other co-host to my right, the one who has some semblance of a brain when it comes to PvP, who is the ultimate mod extraordinaire. We have Tower Mom. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right, now Tower.
I have no PvP sense, so stop lying.
Okay, but like if I tell you not to rush up by yourself into an engagement, would you rush up by yourself in an engagement?
I'll still rush.
Oh my god. I can't trust none of y'all motherfuckers out here, I swear.
I'll end up doing it regardless. It's just Jesus. How I am, even on my warlock.
Y'all are ridiculous, I swear. And I'm the Titan in the room. I'm the one saying no rushing to engagements, but how funny is that? All right, so we're gonna get the pain out of the way first because it's just gonna be easier that way. It's gonna be easier if we just get this one out of the way off rip. So 2 days ago on March 17th, one of the greatest voice actors of our time passed away. Lance Reddick, well known for a multitude of different live action roles, but for us specifically, the voice actor for Zavala, Commander Zavala, the Titan Vanguard, passed away. There is all we know from what the police report said is that he passed of natural causes. It is still quite heartbreaking that even at the age of 60, he seems so young. He seems so full of life. He was quite literally playing Destiny 2 the day before he passed. And
not the night.
Like he finished the campaign.
He did not.
Nonetheless,
he did not.
Oh, someone said he did. I feel bad now.
He got to the final mission.
Damn.
And he did not finish the final mission. So that's actually why I did the final mission the other day in his honor.
And it's like it sucks because not only does he not get to see the end of the campaign now, he doesn't get to see the final shape. And the outpouring of love that came from the community, like there's so much crap that goes on in the community. There's so much like elitism and whatnot, but like to see everyone just take a step back and just chill and emote by Zavala the past 2 days has just been some of the most heartwarming stuff. And I'll admit I was a mess the first like day and a half. I didn't know what to do. But
yeah.
I'm gonna miss my commander. It's gonna suck. I pray Bungie makes the right decision with them moving forward. Alchemy, do you want to say anything in regards to this?
No. You've said pretty much what I want to say.
All right, fair enough. Tower.
It's just incredibly heartbreaking. And like you said, it was, I mean, the man may have been 60, but nowadays 60 is young. He was healthy. He was, strong as an ox. There was it was just so sudden. And unfortunately, sudden things occur, aneurysms, heart attacks, things like that, strokes, they happen, and it's heartbreaking. And I swear to God, if I see a single warlock or hunter in the tower during Guardian games, I will rage. Titans will win Guardian games because everyone will be a Titan for Guardian games. I will go into the instance chat and I will throw slippers at any hunter or warlock I see. Even the boy is making a Titan. Even my son is making a Titan to honor him. So yeah.
Love that.
Currently standing vigil right next to the commander on my Titan while we're recording this, by the way. So dress blues and everything.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So everyone just stay strong and know that he is proud of us. We're going to push on. Okay. Now this is the part of the show where shit goes south.
Yeah, and at least we ripped the Band-Aid off right away.
Yeah.
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 So, as everyone knows, the Root of Nightmares raid was this past week. And we had the day one raid, the 48-hour raid where contest mode was applied.
Yeah.
And there has been a lot of opinions in the Destiny 2 community in regards to that. And it's taken me some time to process. And then what happened when Lance happened, and I needed more time to process. And it has just been a week of me sort of like recalibrating and me like trying to like approach this the correct way. Because originally I wanted to come in here and discuss everybody out, like on site. It was just like I needed to like everybody on both sides of the aisle needed to just like get told off, and that's still kind of what I'm gonna do, but more like peacefully, because there is the like I don't want to say elitism, because like that's not the right.
That's exactly what it was.
Well, no. I'm gonna get to it. Let me get to it. I don't want to say elitism across the board, because it wasn't elitism across the board. But here's the thing. In my opinion, Root of Nightmares as a whole, but having now played it on both contest mode and on normal. I didn't finish contest mode. I got the Nazareth and I couldn't finish it. But as a whole, I feel as if this raid probably had a different version at one point. I feel that in original testing, Bungie built this raid in contest mode, or at least what they perceive to be contest mode. And then when you turn it down, it's nothing. Like, it's baby's first raid. Like, other than Nezarec, the entire first 3 encounters you can do in your sleep. Yeah. It's very much like,
not third encounter.
We're not third encounter. But like the first 2 encounters,
third encounter is going to be a talk on its own.
Yeah, like the first 2 encounters specifically, like you need one person to do the mechanics, and everybody else on act clear. That's not what a raid encounter should ever be. That's where what made it even weirder was the fact that on contest mode, it was a challenge. Like you had to like kill the tormentor in a certain amount of time. There was things that you had to do in a certain amount of time. On regular mode, there's times where you kill the Tormentor and another one spawns because the dude's not done doing the mechanic. Like, and then you kill the other one so fast, it's like, all right, cool, we're done. Like, it feels as if, specifically the first two encounters, were built from the ground up in contest mode, and then they turned it down. That's why it's really weird, because there was even a point during second encounter where, like, me and Tower were just kind of like bot walking and just killing things and not really doing anything. That's not a raid encounter.
Yeah, meanwhile,
okay,
here's me with glass fucking cankles hitting the stairs too hard.
Well, that's different. The jumping mechanic aside.
Jumping puzzle was a bitch, but
yeah, like the launchers aside, that's a whole different discussion. But specifically the second encounter, just the ad density, like the ad level, like if you look at
Panda.
What up?
We gotta put the nod though, because like when I was on ad clear for the second encounter, it was the only reason that ad density was so low is because I'm running freaking infinite threadling build.
Right, but but even if you weren't running that, there were certain builds that, like, even normal guns, you could keep those Cabal like just dead. Third encounter in Nezarec specifically, when it comes to like normal run, that's where it felt like the complexity turned up. But I'll be the one to say it. Third encounter feels like it's a whole different raid. Like they legit said, "Hey, yo, first and second encounter, and then like the jumping puzzle. We're gonna teach you the specific mechanic for the end of the raid." Third encounter comes in and just goes, "Here's a whole new system." It's like,
Usually all the raids encounters are pretty cohesive. Even for the earlier raids, like, you know, OG Vogue and
even
OG
like
Crota, like everything was very cohesive, even in those older raids. But like, it did kind of feel like third encounter was possibly pulled from something else, or that everything else was trying, like it was just kind of like pushed in there because of the whole Savathun thing. Because that third encounter was legit, you know, Guardians will gain the power to move worlds. Because if you notice above in the middle portion of the third encounter, you have Io, Mars, and fucking Mercury. Those are the three planets in the middle. Literally Io, Mars, and Mercury. The rest of the planets don't mean shit.
It very much feels like there's something more that happened here when it comes to that. Like it very much feels like that, because if you also when you look at third encounter, that's the room the witness was in the fight of the Witch Queen cutscene.
Yeah.
So everyone's very much like, whoa, what's going on here, versus the rest of the raid where it feels very like dissonant. Now, granted, is there stuff in the rest of the raid that feels connected? Yes. The traveler tree growing through the pyramid spike and through Nezarec's chamber and helping him grow back. Like that's very cool. The different extent.
First encounter.
Yeah, we're literally growing the seed of Silver Wings as we go through that raid. Like
you start in first encounter and then you come back to first encounter at the end of the raid. Like there's so much cool aesthetics. The lore that people have been like reading the books and whatnot has been insane. So like there's a lot.
Lore, dude, is
so good. Like there's so much to enjoy about this raid. I will say though, I want to have a conversation for starters with and also to anybody who did get a day one clear or a 48-hour clear. Don't let no one take that from you. Don't let no one take that from you. You accomplished that. You did good work. You did what you had to do.
Yeah.
To the pro players, when it comes to this entire raid situation, if you are saying that this raid is too easy, take off your Starfire protocol and try again.
Mm-hmm.
Take off your Gear
Mhm.
Falcon and your Omnioculus and try again. Take off your Synthoceps with the Bonk build and try
Yep.
again. The reason why I say all
Take off
three
your
of
Laurely.
well, no, I'll give
Even-
Laurel a pass because
even-
I was dying with Laurel in the damn raid.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
Even
what I'm saying is
nerfed, but still,
specifically
yeah.
the builds that were specifically used to break mechanics. Those builds, I will tell you straight up, if the Starfire Protocol build wasn't as busted as it was right now, no one would have cleared third encounter on day one.
Yeah.
No one would have like everyone can swear up and down that they could do it. Everyone everyone can swear that they did whatever they wanted. You would not have other than possibly the Div Thunderlord combo. You would not have cleared the day one third encounter without the Starfire Protocol build. That's a fact. Everybody's saying up and down that this raid was too easy. If you look at the video that the Hard in the Paint team, which congratulations to the Hard in the Paint team for getting your first ever World's First. That's awesome for you guys.
Yep.
But if you
Hell yeah.
watch their video of third encounter, they're all just hovering in the air with Starfire Protocol, throwing endless fusion nades to basically make the room empty. Like they clear the room so fast for third encounter that nothing can shoot them. Versus if you run that room with average loadouts, but everyone has the correct mods and the correct things that you have on, there's still times where people are going to be one shot. They're I was running 100 resilience with different mods and whatnot, and I was being one shot.
It's me. Hi. How many times did I die in that room?
Right. So it's when everyone keeps the head kept saying oh, this raid's too easy, Bungie needs to make this raid harder. It's only this raid was only as easy as it was because we have power crept as much as we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no one who can tell me otherwise. Because the builds that we have right now that Bungie still hasn't looked at, they're out here freaking nerfing Synthoceps and Glaives right now while Starfire Protocol reigns supreme.
Well, hold on. Speaking about that, there was
you're the Warlock main. You speak on it.
We're both Warlock mains. You're the only Titan main in the room, bro.
But it has been confirmed that Starfire is getting a slight nerf in next season.
Good.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of at a point where it's and the thing about it is I feel bad that I have to target that, but it's the reason why that happened. But also what Bungie needs to do, which we've talked about previously on the show previously, which is we need to stop having the situation where we have to nerf one thing. And because you're going to hear a lot of Warlocks besides these two start saying, Warlocks don't have anything, Bungie keeps nerfing everything, which is valid because that's what's happening to Titans right now, where Titans are getting almost everything nerfed into the ground. But the problem is Bungie keeps doing this thing where they'll promote one outlier build for a little bit of time and then nerf it back down. We need to have a gradual boost of all exotics across the board to make each more builds viable, but not overpowered. And Bungie doesn't know how to do that. And it's frustrating because that's the true ticket as to why the day one raid experience was the way it was. Because if anyone wants to look up on Twitter or even have the balls to say, we thought this raid was too easy, take off Starfire, take off Gear Falcon, take off Omni, take off Synthos. And you will have a totally different raid experience. Now, I want to shift the conversation to the other end of the aisle. To those who feel as if the pro players were gatekeeping, who to feel that the pro players are gatekeeping by saying that contest mode should be harder or contest mode shouldn't be completed by so many people.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give Elitist Dado a little bit of props on this one because I don't like doing that. But they're right. While I don't agree that it's as easy as everyone says, contest mode Ron should not have been completed by as many people as it was. No way. It is the most completed day one raid on the board. And like if you look at the stats, they said
the only reason for that is because they extended contest mode to
right,
48 hours.
But even if you cut it in half, it's still one of the top ones.
Yeah, because that's what they had to do with VAL because of how many network connection issues they had during day one. Because look at
they were expecting all of those issues. Yeah. They weren't expecting it to be done in 2.5 hours.
Also, here's another thing. You got to remember, majority of the people, I don't know if Redeem, Math Class, Elysium, if they already knew, but it has been confirmed that the raid mechanics were already leaked and people were already going in knowing what to do.
So exactly. Yes and no. Because I actually belong in another Discord that actually saw those leaks for the person that was quote unquote leaking them on Reddit, and that person actually said, they put their thing out and they said it was fake. But even then, there is that issue of leakers leaking.
So if we look
at a bunch of bullshit to begin with in the first place,
right? But
to go back to not have happened.
It should not have happened. No. But to go back to what I was saying, in terms of this should not have been completed at the rate that it was. And this is not gatekeeping by saying this. This is not this is coming from someone who didn't even finish it. This is someone who's saying, hey, if you came in, cause I LOG'd almost the entire day trying to get this done. And across the board, there were so many people who would come into the LFG not having the right mods, not taking criticism about not having the right mods.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh no.
Not having the right weapon loadouts. There was someone who came in and tried to use. There was one guy who came in trying to use Truth. Trying to use Truth, the rocket launcher Truth, in one of my LFGs for DPS, and we were like, "What are you doing?" Well, it's a void rocket. I can use it, right? No. There was
even I know that. No.
There was one person who came in trying to run Stasis Titan, and he kept getting one shot because his build was horrible. It was there were so many different builds across the board.
That warlock that joined us on our.
There was one warlock. There was one warlock who came in with us, who kept dying when he was supposed to be in third encounter with the planets. He was supposed to carry a planet from one end of the room to the other. No. He started as a planet person. Then he switched to that clear. He came in. He kept dying, and said, "Hey, I'm dying. I need your help killing the Centurion." And I said, "Bet." I kept killing the Centurion for him, but then he kept dying, and he's getting mad at me. I looked at his build. He was running strand reserves instead of concussive dampener and sniper resistance and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he was running barely any recovery, barely any resilience. And I'm like, yo, look at your build. This is the reason why you're dying. And then even his friend, who he brought into the LFG with him, was saying, hey, yeah, you don't need that many grenades. Put move this stat here. And it was what the hell is going on?
Oh no. Yeah. Oh god.
And honestly, me and Panda laughed our asses off after
and the funniest thing about it was when we called him out for it, he just sat there silent. And I was like, okay, so you're not gonna answer me? And not answer your friend? Silent for 2 minutes. And I kicked him because the worst thing you could possibly do, And I talked about this back when King's Fall was coming back. And then this goes back to what I'll say here. If you are going to enter a contest mode raid setting, a setting where it is permanently, doesn't matter if you're 1780, doesn't matter if you're 1800, doesn't matter if you're 1810, you are permanently 20 light levels below the content.
Mm-hmm.
Where anything can snipe you, anything can kill you at the drop of a dime. If your build isn't what it's supposed to be, if it's not optimized to what it's supposed to be, it is not about gatekeeping. It is not about trying to like say you're not valid. It is the fact that you are gonna get your butt kicked and you're not gonna have a fun time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And some people just don't understand that. There were people who would come in when we were trying to interview people, when we tried to get a day one raid team together originally. I had a dude come in apply. He had one King's Fall clear and nothing else on his raid report.
Oh no.
Nothing. And he had like a few exotics. He said he plays in his free time because he's a dad. And I'm like, yo, I respect that you want to try. I respect that you are eager and want to help. But let me give you a couple seasons. Join the clan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna train you. You're like a really eager Titan. I want to help you. I want to help you get better at this game instead of you going into this day one contest mode and you having a horrible experience, because I've been there. And he took it as me being gatekeepy and me not wanting him to be part of my team. And I'm like, you just let everything that I just said go in one ear and out the other.
Let me just stop right there, because it's valid that they wanted to try. Okay. It's very valid that they wanted to try. But even me, like, I'm a casual player. All right. I have maybe a total of 50 raid clears across the different raids that have been in Destiny 2. All of them. A total of 50 clears. Most of them in King's Fall, because I sherped the fuck out of that with some other friends from my previous clan. Even I wouldn't apply for a day one, and I have. Y'all have seen me. I have some just the basic understanding of how things work and how mods work and shit like that. I still do not feel comfortable going into a day one clear. I had so many people in some of my other Discords saying, "Hey, Mom, do you want to join us for day one?" No. I appreciate the offer. No. I don't feel comfortable enough. That's the thing, is if you know you've only had one clear of any raid in Destiny 2, even if you were raiding in D1, you need to step back and take a slice of humble pie and realize that, hey, maybe I'm not ready to do this.
And it's like especially when someone's like, hey, yo, I want to help you. I want to help you get better at the game. And you perceive it because not everybody in the community is like, yo, hashtag get good scrub. No. When someone wants to help you, when people want to help you and get better at the game, that's them trying to say, hey, yo, there was even one point in the conversation where I was like, yo, I will teach you every other raid in this game, but you going into contest mode is not going to be a good experience. And he just stopped talking to me on Discord. I was like, bro, that's unreal. But there's a giant divide in the Destiny community right now when it comes to this situation, because there is the casual players who want the harder content to be accessible. But I'm gonna like, this isn't just like me targeting like Tower or like her specific. This isn't me talking about her. This is the casual like fan base in general. There's a good amount of people who here get good and just shut down. What I'm trying to say here is you need to be able to put some work into the game for you to be able to approach that content. Like there was one thing that Dado said in his elitist video where he was like, contest mode shouldn't be for someone who just started playing the game 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
Like GMs should not be something that anyone just jumps into off rip. Like there's some things like I know some people get upset when there's like, oh, GMs and trials have adept weapons and other people have to deal with the normal Nightfall weapons and the normal trials weapons because they can't go flawless or can't do a GM. That doesn't mean much. Those weapons barely have any more stat distribution than the normal ones. You're still going to be fine.
Name.
It's the name and then like a little bit of a stat boost. You'll still be fine with that content. The most you're getting gate kept is like an ascended shard. Like, it's okay.
Or very rare exotic. And I will tell you, it took me 3.5 years to finally do my first GM because I didn't feel comfortable enough. I did my first GM right before Lightfall dropped. And I've been playing since freaking Season of Undying. Like, if you're a casual player, understand one of the most important things about being a casual player is understanding and knowing your limits based on what limits are placed in game. If you think that you can go into something like hell, even an 1830 Legend Lost Sector, I got my ass handed to me at 1799. I got one shot by fucking dogs.
Yep.
And so I know now, okay, I really do have to go in and get my light level up. Now, granted, that's a whole nother discussion about things like Legend Lost Sectors and being
like we're gonna have that conversation about the games overall.
In my opinion.
Like there's a discussion to be had about the game's overall difficulty, but like there's some things like Master or Legend or GMs or Master Raid content. Like I remember when Master Vogue first came out.
Yeah,
I've never done a Master Raid,
and then there was a big controversy of people saying, why is Bungie gatekeeping all this new time loss loot? Bungie isn't gatekeeping anything. They're giving people who work their asses off to complete that content the reward for completing that content. Like I don't usually give like the hardcore player base a lot of props because they don't touch grass for shit. But like, if you're
there's an emote for that now.
Exactly. But if you're gonna put that much effort into the game, you should be rewarded for such. They're giving that's what contest mode was originally supposed to be. Was like their once a year sweat fest to see who was the best, and that's fine. But like, there still should be a point, because I even kind of said this too, where there should be a point where if you have done the work, if you've have the right build, if you have the right setup, if you have the right game sense, you should be rewarded and should be able to complete the day one. Now, if you come in here with the wrong stats, the wrong build, because I see, like me and Alchemy can attest to this weekend in Trials. This kind of goes the same thing with Trials of Osiris right now, where you see people coming into high-end PvP rather, and with like no good stats, no good mods, coming in just thinking they're gonna pull a flawless out of their butts. And it's
not
like,
knowing the difference between a PvE loadout and a PvP loadout.
Yeah, like it's not gonna happen.
I've made that mistake before, going into Trials with friends because they needed a third person, and I didn't know the difference between, oh well, these mods are better for PvP and these mods are better for PvE. And yeah, it was dying left, right, and center. Luckily, we got the wins, or the rounds one that we needed. We didn't need to go flawless because it was for a stupid weekly triumph, but still, it was a slog as a casual PvE player, primarily.
Right.
Horrible.
And it's like that argument when it comes to Trials goes hand in hand with high-end PvE. There is a difference between some shitty person saying get good and then other people telling you have to put the work in to gain the results. Like it's like if you want the good grade in the class, you need to study the homework kind of thing. Like you can't expect Bungie to just hand you the reward. You don't get to just be like, hey yo, I want a day one clear. Oh, yeah, go do the right mods, do the right this. No, well then you're not gonna get it, forehead. Like I'm sorry, like
unless you pay like $300-$400 for.
Yeah, no, like it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's like the more you learn about this game, the better you will be. Now, notice how I spent like 20 minutes here going after both the pro players and the casual players, because both of y'all need to get together and just work and understand that Bungie cares about both audiences. While Bungie was hyped that a lot of people completed the day one raid, there's the issue with power creep. And on the other issue, like side of the spectrum, there's a lot of people who don't even know how to put a loadout together and expect to come out with a dub, and they're not going to get that. So I feel like across the board, we need to reset expectations and understand the flaws with the system. And then we can move on from there.
Yeah.
Exactly. There need to be more people out there. And in my opinion, there need to be more accessible ways of learning how to build a loadout for casual players. Now, I absolutely appreciate the outlines that people like Leanna, Dirty Hippie, post up on freaking Bungie's pages and things like that. But there's a difference between reading something and actually going in and learning how to do it. And y'all both saw me struggle with this when we were doing the raid.
Right.
Me personally, I need to be I'm an experiential learner. I can't just go through and read an outline, no matter how good and how detailed it is. I need someone to sit down with me and go, okay, so this is what works with this. This is how this synchronizes with this. It's why I personally was fighting downloading, or signing up for freaking D2 Armor Picker, because I need someone to sit with me and actually teach me so I can absorb those things for myself and be able to go in and look at my loadouts and go, okay, I need this, 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 and this, and my build will be even better. And I think a lot of casual players are like that as well. More often than not, I've seen a lot of casual players recently with the new loadout system being just like, but I just learned a whole loadout system, and now I got to learn some new.
That's what was so hard about the new system. It was like, we had builds figured out. We had things that finally worked, and then Bungie was like, rip it all apart. And a week and a half before a new raid, they did this. And it was crazy. And now we're all forced into this armor charge system, which it's very streamlined. If you put the work in, you can understand it. But it very much feels like we're all back to ground zero. And if you don't hyperspeed read the textbook, you're not going to understand it. So it's that's what we're trying to do with a lot of people is try to sit down with you, have dim links set up to give to people that when they understand things, help walk through different things, because otherwise people are going to be confused. There's still a giant percentage of the Bungie community, like the guy I talked about who thought I was gatekeeping, who have never completed raids or have only done one raid. But at the same time, there's gonna be such there's been times where people have come into the Discord and joined the clan, and there's a week where it's Deepstone in the rotation, and there's Duality in the rotation, and the Vow was the beginning raid, was the raid, and King's Fall hadn't come out yet. Someone went, hey guys, can we run a Last Wish? I want to learn Last Wish. First of all, it's not Pinnacle, so no one has the incentive or the drive to run it. B, it's a very long raid. So unless you have a crack team of Sherpas, you're not going to get through it in less than a couple hours. And it's one of those raids where you have to put the time. It's very intensive, and you have to learn multi-step things if you want to learn it. If you want to be just brought in through ad clear, cool. You're not going to learn anything. But if you want to learn Last Wish, you're going to be there for a long time. And some people don't want to do that, or they've had a bad experience with a Sherpa, or people trying to control them and be elitist, and they don't want to go back in there. But at the same time, there's still so many people who play this game that don't know how to do certain things. And honestly, like, Bungie hasn't really been that much helpful when it comes to their mod systems. They'll give you text descriptions, but if it weren't for the YouTubers and the content creators, Bungie would have a lot of confused people on their hands. And it kind of sucks.
They have a lot of confused people on their hands. Because not everyone watches all the big YouTubers.
Yeah. So it's very much one of those situations.
I personally don't like Vlad or Dado. I don't watch them. I mean, they're good people. Dado's a good guy, but I personally don't watch him.
Yeah, that's totally valid. So it's just one of those situations where, like, not everyone, there's still a good chunk of the community that doesn't read the TWAB. Like, there's still a lot of people that don't read it.
Me.
Yeah.
Do I need to start throwing slippers at you?
I love how this man.
Now we have this podcast.
And this man doesn't read the TWAB.
To teach them and to talk about things that are important in the community. And you don't read the TWAB. How very dare you, sir?
I just listen to it because I'm usually busy on Thursdays.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm usually at work and stuff too on Thursdays.
So, but that was basically like the entirety of what I wanted to get to specifically with everything. Where it's like, we very much have a situation where the casuals are upset, the pro players are upset, and everyone needs to quit being all crappy to each other. We just need to come together like butt cheeks and be the shit. Like, we just need to work together and get this done, because everyone's crapping on Bungie and attacking Bungie, and there's still people upset about Lightfall that are attacking Bungie and like sending death threats. Please, for the love of God, stop. Like, legitimately stop. It's so ridiculous.
There is never an okay situation for sending death threats or harassing DMs, as someone who over the past week has received death threats and harassing DMs.
Which, I'm gonna make this motherfucking clear right now. I don't give a fuck how thick Nezarec is. I don't give a fuck what you think of what is in this game. It is not okay to attack a member of this podcast. I don't give a fuck what's going on. Y'all some childish people in general. Like, really make it out as if someone's fat phobic or something like that over Nezarec. Come on. Like, really? Come on.
It wasn't fat phobic stuff. It wasn't fat phobic stuff they were sending.
I misinterpreted. I apologize.
My post was encouraging body positivity, and people were sending me fat phobic death threats. Like, the man is thick. Nezarec is thick. He's got the dad bod, the weightlifter bod, the strongman bod, and I'm here for it. I am fucking here for it. But don't come, please do not come into my DMs saying because I encourage and appreciate the body that he has, that I need to, self-unalive because I did not support the fact that some plus-size people like myself have struggles with their weight and want to lose weight. I grew up with an eating disorder. I know how it is. Don't tell me to self-unalive, because I know what you're feeling. Please. There's no reason for that.
That's shit.
Keep that in the drafts, or just completely delete it, please.
Just be better. Like be better to each other. Honestly, just like Like this game, this game ain't that serious. Like we all love this game, but it ain't that serious. So then, but like now that we talked about the raid and whatnot, like overall with the raid, I did really enjoy it. Like it is not my favorite raid. It's very much like mid tier, like mid lower tier, but it's still a fun experience. I think something needs to be done about that jumping puzzle.
Yeah, they need to tune the launchers, because I was literally stuck on a single launcher for 20 minutes because I couldn't land properly. And even if the other thing is that they need to tune the spawn points. Like if you get to a point in that jumping puzzle and you land and you're there for the 5 seconds that you need for the game to be able to render where you were last standing, but it puts your ghost all the way back at the beginning. That's a game issue. That's not a me issue. That is not a me problem. That's a game problem.
Very much so. There's only so much you can do in that circumstance.
Exactly.
But Alchemy, how do you feel about the raid overall?
Like it is a breath of fresh air to have a new raid, but like with both sides of the coin, it's just a raid that I felt like just needed to exist so we have something, but also not make it as hard.
Yeah. They're very short and simple. All right, cool.
I mean, Nezarek's mechanics were incredibly difficult to parse out.
I mean, at first, but once you figure it out, it's to the point where you don't even have to do the white mechanic. And I think that was a mistake on Bungie's part, where if you just brute force it, you can just one phase him or like get through it very quickly. And I think that was like a mistake on Bungie's part. Also, the ability to just stand up on the platforms and basically just evade almost all Nezarec damage was a misstep, because because that makes it so like you should have made it similar to Rolk, where you're on like a flat surface or a surface where you can't really like stand up on, and Nezarec's coming for everybody. Like that should just be on sight. So that's where like everyone thought it was so revolutionary that Bungie was moving towards like standing bosses.
Mm-hmm.
So it very much should be a situation of just, hey, everybody like should have had flat ground to fight Nezarec, but we didn't have that. So hopefully Bungie has taken this as a learning experience and changes some things, because there's parts of this raid that people are like people were speed running this and doing low bans and flawless runs in contest mode. So while I will agree that like power creep has made the game a little too easy for some, there's still a certain degree where if power creep wasn't a thing, people would be like, "Oh my god, some of this was really freaking easy."
Yeah,
that's my hot button topic there. That's my hot button opinion there.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that's just my couple cents on that one. But like in terms, so I did want to spend a little bit of time though. Like this is where like towards the end of the show before we dive into the questions, is talking about how we all kind of stand on Lightfall right now, because after actually spending some time playing the post game, I'm editing my rating on the game from a hold on. You going from a C minus to a C plus. You're going from a C minus to, that's what you get. You're going from a C minus to a C plus. That's what you get. You get this. You going to C plus. I ain't going no higher.
Oh man. Damn,
but here's the thing. Here was the thing. I was willing to go to a B minus, but you know what messed it up?
What?
So not like not this past week, but the previous week's TWAB, where Bungie announced that they're like, "Hey guys, like we understand there's some confusion and some issues about the narrative, but next season we're going to have a new a new event or a new mission that that is free for all Lightfall players, that is not attached to season 21, that has a new hand cannon to be obtained in it, that here's the concept art for it, art for it, and here's what we will be showing in next season."
They had to do that for the people that were whining about how.
No. Hold on. Before I let you speak on that, did y'all recognize where that gun was from?
The Lightfall.
The Lightfall poster, the Lightfall title card. When you buy Lightfall, it is in the hunter's hand. It was cut from the main game, or it was unfinished, which tells me there is so much cut content with this game that Bungie decided to.
How do you know that was cut? How do you know that was cut?
Why would you advertise it as a part of Lightfall and then move it to another season?
There were a lot of things they advertised with Lightfall that are part of seasonal content.
Like what?
They did that on purpose.
Like what? Like what?
They did that on purpose. Half of the guns that you see in the Lightfall shit in the promo materials are seasonal weapons.
No, I'm talking about for Lightfall. Like when you look at the Lightfall trailers, the Lightfall specific things, like not the seasonal armor, not the season of Defiance weapons. I'm talking about months ago when Lightfall was first announced, and you see the specific things. You see Quicksilver Storm,
showing Season of the Deep stuff as well.
No. When you're looking at just the Lightfall poster when it was first dropped, even when we go back to the original announcement of Lightfall, when they showed the Neo Luna trailer, this gun was in the pre-order for Quicksilver Storm. So this gun, it was the giant poster had that gun. That hand cannon has been in the hunter's hand since the first pre-order during the Vidoc, during the giant Bungie presentation, which tells me either somebody cut it and moved it, or it was all part of the plan to start doing the seasonal based model and not telling anyone. They straight up just said, we're going to cut up the story and to make it almost non-understandable, and then not explain it, not tell anyone. Because if Bungie would have came out from the jump with the expansion and said, "Hey, we're going to straight up be like, hey, we're going to give you parts of Lightfall across the seasons, but it not be part of the seasonal content," that would have went over so much better than them going, "Hey, after the fact." That's what I have issue with.
Okay, I agree with you on that last portion. They should have been like, "Look, this is going to be like a chapter book."
Yes,
I agree with you on that.
Yes,
they should have been more. They should have been more open on that.
Because similar to
you
Witch
have
Queen,
to look at it like a chapter book,
right? But you need to give people the information, because if you look at Witch Queen, if you look at Beyond Light, those are full packages. You had full packages for the past 3 years. Then you have this where it's like, oh, there's more coming down the line. And I'll be straight up, if they wouldn't have said in the TWAB that, oh, this is not part of the seasonal content, I'd have been pissed, because as a consumer, if I would have had to pay extra, if I had to buy season 21 to get that gun, I'd have been raving, because you advertised that on the Lightfall poster, not part of Season of Defiance or Season of the Deep. So that would have had people even more outraged. So it very much feels like Bungie had a lot of missteps with Lightfall. And Bife even did a video a few weeks, like a few days ago, where he's flat out said for everyone to stop using him as ammunition to attack the devs just because Bife's upset doesn't mean attack the devs, you freaking idiots. Like, stop it. But also, you can still have like enjoy parts of Lightfall and think Lightfall is a good expansion, but still critique the narrative, because the narrative is still a good portion of it. Now, I will be straight up with you. The post game, the machine gun mission, was fucking phenomenal. Like, the machine gun mission actually takes you back into my favorite raid, Garden of Salvation, and actually does something new in there, which is so cool. Like, that's what I want to see Bungie start doing, repurposing old environments for new material. Like, if you could go back into that mission weekly and play that and do more stuff in there, I would love that. I'm saying for like more raids. If there was more ways to do that kind of stuff, I'd be so about it. So it's very much like like this was a dub. And like there's different things with Lightfall that were a dub, but the narrative is the biggest thing bringing it down. And I really feel like Bungie needs to take another look and redo their thought process moving forward. And if we don't give these criticisms fairly and not attacking them, Final Shape's going to be a mess. Like, we need to be respectful with our opinions, but we need to be able to have a good dialogue. And because why would you want to give death threats to a video game company? It's not that serious, but can you be passionate and can you share your opinions fairly and justly? Yes, that's what we're doing right here. But we're not wishing death upon anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
So that's my biggest thing. But like, we're up to a C+. We're probably gonna stay at a C+. Season of the Defiance has been very fun. I'm excited to where it's going, but like we're staying at a C+. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
So that's I'm very confident in my C+. I gave y'all a C+. We're gonna keep it there. Like, I need y'all to be grateful. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into a couple of the listener questions. Make sure, folks, that if you are part of the Discord, you are making your voice known. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into it. So I already answered Pong's question of, is the raid too easy? And like some people are even saying that this feels like a dungeon that was repurposed into a 6-man raid. I can understand that sentiment. I could see that argument. If it like especially because there's a lot of ways to low man this very efficiently. I think if the third encounter didn't exist, you'd have a pretty good argument for it being a dungeon. I'd buy it. I very much buy it. But unless Bungie says it straight to my face, I'm not gonna buy it. Like it's a good argument, and I think it's a viable argument. But until Bungie admits it, I'm not saying it. Like it was a decent raid. That's all I'm saying. The Whopping Willow said, "Why are people saying the raid is too easy?" I feel like we've touched on this, but for clarification, there's like the biggest issue with the raid itself is, if you break the raid, as in like you use everything in your arsenal, you fry every enemy before it can touch you, it's a very simplistic system. But if you aren't tuned, if you aren't to a point where you can take out anything without very much batting an eye, this raid will kick your butt. Like, that's the cut and dry of it.
Yep. As the casual player that was asking, opinions about, I did it with Panda and Alchemy after contest mode was done, and it kicked my ass, especially Nezarec. I was at the point where I was like, I can't do this. Like, I keep dying every 5 seconds, even with an optimized PvE build, as best as I can make it for my Warlock. Like, I was ready to just dip and be like, I can't do this. So yeah, it is difficult, especially if you're still trying to get into the mindset of the new mod system. Even if you have like optimized build and you're up to power and stuff, yeah, it still can be hard. It still can be. But the important thing is having a team with you who is willing to, one, push you past your limits, who is willing to work with you and take that little bit of extra time to help you rebuild, because that's what we had to do with me.
Yep.
And who is willing to say, all right, we're gonna get you through this. We're all gonna get through this, and we're gonna kick his ass. And what happened? That encounter, after we took a few minutes to reset my build, recalibrate, take a quick break to rebuild my stuff, with Panda kicking ass right beside me, we finished Nezarek in that run. We finished.
Really did. And the thing about it was like I had my build tuned to where like I was not gonna die. I had that thing made to where like I was tanking everything for her, that way she wouldn't die. And it takes time. And people need to understand when like there's different content creators that like are telling you go do a farm for high stat armor. They're not trying to like tell you or bully you or whatever, saying your build's trash. There comes a point where you need to start looking at what you can do to be better at the game. Going, hey, I have all these exotics, I have all these rolls. Where do I go from here? High stat armor. You need to start farming for more armor.
Here was the thing with me, Panda, is that I had high stat armor. I had my build. I was at freaking like 95 resilience, 95 discipline. I had high stat armor. It was only until after we messed around a little bit and I actually had to lower my stats for me to even be able to survive. Granted, you were tanking damage, but so was I at lower stat armor. When we recalibrated everything, I was a good 10 points lower than I was when I started the raid. And that was when my survivability went up. Like, I was still tanking from the Centurions the entire time. The entire time. You were telling them to get over here and shoot at you, but they were still shooting at me, and I still had legionaries, I still had snipers, I still had Nezarek on my ass. Half of the time that boy was up on me like, how you doing?
So
and that was when I survived.
And then I want to save Chase from the Places question in terms of difficulty for next week, because we will be having a guest on the show, Wormkeeper, well-known content creators coming on the show to talk to us, because there is like we already kind of hinted at, there's a growing issue when it comes to the difficulty changes that Bungie has made. There's conversations going on about champions in the game right now, and I want to save that conversation for them. So make sure that you are joining the Discord to get your voice heard. Make sure you are like staying in the know and listening to the show and knowing what's going on. And we will be back like next week for that specifically. Don't forget that you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all those great places. You can follow us on Twitter at Cosmodrome Radio. If you cannot find a way to listen to the show, go to cosmodromeradio.com. All the links are there specifically. Alchemy, what is your closing statement for this episode?
That day one rating is a bitch, and that if you just need to put work into the game to get results.
Amen. Tower, how you feeling? What's your closing statement?
I better see not a single hunter warlock in the tower during Guardian game.
I love it.
How very dare if you are a warlock or a hunter in the Guardian games, Titans will win.
Jesus.
4 lands. 4 lands, damn it.
My closing statement is Bungie, Lance needs his own gun. Lance, we will miss you. And overall, I feel like this community this needs to come together because we all love this game and we need to stop acting so divided. But we will catch you folks next week.
Men.
We will see you Starside. Peace out.